Hurry up slowly. Teacher, why don't you give me more assignments, while others get new ones almost every day? The student asked the teacher. I will answer you, but not now. Now let's have lunch. The student agreed, especially since he was hungry. Just let me feed you myself. It seemed strange to the student, but, nevertheless, he agreed, thinking that this way the teacher shows him more attention than to other students. They brought treats. The teacher took a spoonful of delicious, fragrant and juicy pilaf and brought it to the mouth of the student, who began to eat the fabulous dish with an appetite. He shook his head with pleasure, closed his eyes and wanted to praise the cook's skill in admiration. But as soon as he opened his mouth to say, why, what a miracle this is, another spoon appeared in his mouth. He began to chew, but before he could finish chewing, his mouth was filled with another spoonful of the magnificent dish. He chewed faster and faster, and despite this, the spoon with pilaf was more and more often in his mouth even before he had time to chew the previous one. Finally, the student could not stand it and exclaimed with his mouth full, Are we in a hurry somewhere? Why do you fill my mouth before I have time to chew and enjoy the taste of this wonderful pilaf? Is it really impossible to eat slowly, for a pleasant conversation? You can, but you like it that way, the teacher said. Me? What are you? Who told you that? You yourself half an hour ago. Me? The student asked in amazement. Well, I didn't ask you to give you new lessons when the old ones haven't been chewed up and learned by you yet. Giving you new tasks before you complete and assimilate the previous ones is like filling a mouthful of food. Do not rush to type a lot of tasks and do not rush to complete them. Hurry slowly, the ancient said, so as not to miss life. Do them with joy and diligence, not with haste. Don't turn life into a chase. Feel the taste of life and enjoy it. Miserly wife and moccasin's hand. Moccasin Hiki lived in a temple in Tamba province. One of his followers complained about his wife's stinginess. Moccasin visited his follower's wife and showed her his clenched fist. What do you mean by that? The surprised woman asked. Let's assume that my hand is clenched into a fist all the time. What do you call it? Moccasin asked. Injury, the woman replied. Then he opened his hand and asked again. Now let's assume that my hand is always in this position. What is it then? Another form of mutilation, said the wife. If you understand that well, Moccasin finished, you're a good wife. And he left. After his visit, his wife began to help her husband, both in savings and in spending. The unlucky man and the house. One man, exhausted by endless failures, swore that if misfortunes left him, he would sell his house and distribute all the money he would receive for it to the poor. After a while, fate became merciful to him, and he remembered his oath. But he didn't want to lose so much money. And then he came up with a way out of the situation. He announced that he was selling his house, but with a cat in the bargain. He asked for 1 silver coin for the house, and 10,000 for the cat. Soon a buyer came and bought a house and a cat. The man gave 1 coin received for the house to the poor, and kept the 10,000 earned for the cat for himself. Many people think the same way as this person. They decide to follow some teaching, but they interpret their connection with it in a way that is beneficial to them. Nazrin and a chatty fellow traveler. One day Nazrin was walking along the road to Bukhara. He got a restless and talkative person as a traveling companion. He asked Nazrin questions and, without waiting for answers, found them himself, telling stories from his life, and more often from the lives of his acquaintances. Nazrin kept more and more silent, and soon only his companion spoke. Kings should not hunt with falcons, it is better with golden eagles. Golden eagles easily take lamb. Lamb should be cooked with a special herb. My relative, a cook at the court of the Shah in Bukhara, said that this seasoning sharpens the mind. I could have become an advisor to the Shah. I've eaten this roast so often. But the Shah is surrounded by some fools. By the way, how to recognize a fool? According to two signs, Nazrin suddenly spoke up again. A fool talks a lot about things that are useless to him, and speaks out about what he is not asked about. Two streams. A boy of 5 or 6 years old, walking with his parents in the forest, saw a clear stream. He drank fresh water, and then, for fun, picked up a twig and began to muddy the water in the stream. The bottom of the stream was earthy, and therefore sand, fallen leaves and various debris immediately rose to the surface. The once clear water has become undrinkable. The kid quickly disliked looking into the dirty water of the stream. He threw a twig there and ran to his mother. And somewhere high up in the mountains, another boy was also playing with a mountain stream. He also wanted to muddy the water with a twig. But the bottom of the stream was rocky, and he broke a twig and ran on, achieving nothing. The stream was clear as before. Some people outwardly seem kind and sympathetic, like a clear stream. But try to offend such a person even by accident and you will see how self-conceit, pettiness and pride and old grievances will emerge from the bottom of the soul, like mud and garbage in a forest stream. Pigeons in Africa. One woman loved to feed pigeons in the park. Every morning she came there with a loaf of still warm bread and fed them the whole loaf, scattering crumbs around her. This went on for quite a long time. This was noticed by a very conscious citizen, and once, when he saw this woman, he said to her, "Here you are feeding these disgusting birds here, throwing them crumbs of your loaf. Meanwhile, people are starving in Africa." And the woman, looking up at him with gentle eyes, replied, "Well, I can't get a loaf to Africa."